everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our this week's edition of Art Chats. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Emily Jaleski. I've been an artist and a maker and encourager for over a decade. I started making art in 2012, and before that, I hadn't really done a whole lot of creative stuff since I was a kid. I had a bad experience with an elementary school art teacher, and that led me to swear off creativity for a long time, and that actually turned out to be a couple decades before I was able to reconnect with my artistic side. So we're in 2024 now. That's 12 years, just about, I think. And I've been making art and learning how to explore and experiment and discover all kinds of new aspects of my creativity ever since then. So welcome. This Art Chat series is a bi-weekly, so like twice a month, just a time for me to come on live here on Instagram and talk about things that pertain to creatives in the everyday world. So that could be topics about vulnerability, how to get organized, technical stuff with art, like how to get more expression in your work, how to come up with inspiration, that kind of thing. I've been doing this for just over a year. I just had my 1 year anniversary. And really my main motivation here is just to encourage other creatives and know that whatever you're struggling with, you're not alone. Other people are dealing with those same things too. So if you're new to the series, there's a whole year's worth of these in the archives on my Instagram Reels tab. You can go find them if you want to watch old episodes. But for now, here we are. And today, each week I have a topic. So this week I wanted to talk about making time for creativity in your life. And that kind of came about just because hold on, let me capture my train of thought here. I'm thinking faster than my mouth can move. So let me backtrack here for a second. I have a husband and a son, a teenage son. He's 15. We live here in Mount Dora, Florida. And we have a pretty good, close relationship between the three of us. We do pretty much everything together when we're not at work or school. We eat meals together. We think that's a big priority as a family. We enjoy the same TV shows. We make a point to go places together, to share experiences and adventures. It's just three of us. My son's an only child, so for the last 15 years, this has been it. In the next couple years, we're probably going to come up on the time when he grows up and wants to move out on his own, and that's coming sooner than later. So I am trying to make a big point of family time and togetherness. So that's the background. The main inspiration for today's talk is just that, the three of us are together so much, and that's great. But there is also something really sweet and special about having time at home by myself. Maybe it's a special treat because it doesn't happen real often. Maybe it's just because I'm an introvert and I'm a homebody, and I'm perfectly happy just to sit at home and not be racing around with a schedule, an agenda, an itinerary. I like to think that I'm social. I'm not antisocial, but I'm also not an extrovert. I don't thrive in that kind of environment around a lot of people. So being at home is my time to recharge from regular life, like at work during the day, running errands, being around people. And when the whole family's here, that's fine. You know, we have our own individual routines throughout the day, and even if we're doing our own activities, we're still all home here together. And I do enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. But sometimes, and like I said, it's just nice to have the house to yourself. So when I do have a chance, like I'm going to have a chance coming up here in the next couple weeks, I think. So when those times do come, I try to really take full advantage of it. I like to just kind of gather some things together for myself. I like to get a beverage. So depending upon the time of day, that could be coffee or tea. It could be something like lemonade, or a, what are those called? A seltzer, like a White Claw or something, or a glass of wine. It really just depends on the day and the weather too. You know, if it's cold outside, I'm much more likely to have coffee or tea or hot chocolate or something than a cold drink. Number two, the second thing I always grab is a blanket. And yes, I live in Florida. Yes, it's hot most of the time. Even now, it's only April 23rd, but it's 75 degrees outside. And I've got the air on and the fans on. And today actually is probably the rare exception when I don't have a blanket because I'm hot. Normally I run cold. I'm always cold. Sidebar. My husband loves to tell the story of when we first met. He came over to my apartment, and it was the middle of July in Orlando, Florida. I was wearing a hoodie, sweatshirt, sweatpants, socks, fuzzy slippers, and my air was off. And he was there to help me move furniture around, and he made it maybe a good 20 minutes. He really put in a good effort, but he finally broke down and asked if we could turn on the air, and that was almost 20 years ago. So I've evolved. I've gotten better since then. I don't like it that hot anymore, but I still run cold generally. So I almost always have a blanket or something cozy, whether it's a hoodie or a blanket or just something to add an extra layer. Third thing I almost always have is the dog. And sometimes that means he's in my lap while I'm working or sitting. Sometimes he's just on the floor next to me sleeping. But he's basically always there. The fourth thing is lights. And that could be, again, based upon the time of day. That could be sunshine with all the blinds and windows open. Or not the windows, but the blinds. And so at night, that could be candlelight, you know, just something for a little atmosphere and ambiance to make it cozy, and to be able to work. Now, I will say, I don't do that a whole lot. I'm more of a morning person. My creative time is in the morning, and by the end of the day, my brain is just, it's just done. It's not really capable of any kind of creative thoughts, at least not any productive ones. So once I have all those things together, a beverage, a blanket, the dog, and some kind of light, then I will take some time and figure out what I want to do. Most of the time, like I said, I don't get time to myself often. So There's always kind of a balance between trying to be productive and maybe work ahead on an art chat or a blog post. I might work on my website or do some administrative things. Or equally possible, if I'm feeling lazy and nobody else is home, I might just sit and watch some of my TV shows because, we do have multiple TVs in our house, but it's an open floor plan, and aside from the bedrooms, which are obviously closed off, it's all open to each other. So if I want to watch something different than what the boys are watching, I'll have to go in the other room, and then they get sad because they don't know where I went. So my point being, that's my time to catch up on my shows that I want to watch. And that's just my silly guilty pleasure shows, or a chick flick, or just something that's probably ridiculous that they would complain about having on. So that's kind of my situation. Your situation's probably a little different. Maybe you have a lot of alone time, but you have a busy schedule, so you don't really get to just be at home as much. Maybe you are the first one up in the morning or the last one to go to bed at night, and that's your alone time. There's all kinds of different scenarios, but maybe you just haven't been good about setting aside time for your creativity in the midst of all your other schedule and responsibilities. Whatever your situation is, it's really important that you set aside creative time for yourself. And as I was doing the research for this chat, I was looking up something like, benefits of spending time alone. And of course, with all the AI lately that's becoming usable, the AI on my phone kind of took over and thought I was saying I was lonely, that I needed company or something. So it tried to give me a whole couple paragraphs about resources for being lonely. And I'm really glad that's available for people. But in this instance, I want to make it clear that working alone is not the same as being lonely. Those are two different things, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay to spend time on your own and just enjoy it. That's really important, especially in our lives today. Sorry, the dog is over there getting into something, I think. I'm not sure what. But with all the busyness of our lives today, with technology and being accessible to everyone at all times, with texting and phones and email and DMs and social media, it's really easy to get overwhelmed with that and not give yourself enough time to rest and to recharge. You might think it's selfish to take time for yourself when you have so many other things to do, especially around the house. We all have responsibilities for cooking, cleaning, laundry, tidying up, running our children around to different activities. But it absolutely is not selfish to take that time for yourself, because when you take that time for yourself, you're pouring back into the things that bring you joy. And that's just going to make you happier and able to give back out to the people that you love most. So it's actually making you a better person, a better mom, a better wife or employee or sibling or parent or daughter or, whatever relationship you can really imagine. This applies to that. So it's important to rest and recharge, and it's not selfish. Now, it's also really good to just have quiet time without interruptions, because it helps you focus, and that's important these days too. We think we can multitask, but I don't really think that's true. Um, when you try and multitask, you're giving partial attention to many different things, and you're not doing any one of them well. So if you can sit down and just take the time to focus and dedicate 100% to that thing, you're going to be more productive. You're going to have better focus. You're going to have time to pursue your goals and explore new ideas. And the other really interesting thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but sometimes when you're in the shower or you're driving or doing the dishes, most of the times when you're just doing something else, and you have to focus on that, and not be distracted by being on the phone, but your mind can focus on that on one side, but then at the same time, it can also wander. And so that's why you get really good ideas when you're, say, in the shower, because you're just kind of zoning out, but also your brain is working at the same time. So I think that concept is called increased idea generation, and I just saw that in one place, so I don't know if that's the actual technical term, but I have read about it in quite a few places, and so that concept applies to when you are sitting alone working creatively, whatever it is, whether you are writing or painting or planning anything, decorating your home, gardening, preparing to host and gather people. There's lots of different scenarios that applies to, but when you're focused on that thing, you're not thinking about anything else, so the ideas can kind of come more freely because you're not distracted. So those are all a couple reasons why it's important to take that time for yourself. Now, it's one thing to recognize why it's important, but it's another thing completely to actually make it happen, to execute it, and to add that into your schedule or your routine. So the first thing you need to do is, add it to your schedule. So you can consider the time of day that works best for you, when your mind is fresh, when you have your best ideas. Sit down, set your intentions, and this is kind of a side thought, but this also applies to the concept of artist dates from The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It's kind of the same concept, just basically saying that it's important to go out and have quality artist dates on your own. And the rule there is that it doesn't work, it doesn't count if you are with other people. You've got to be by yourself. So you could take yourself out to a museum, go sit at a cafe and write, sketch on the sidewalk, and people watch. There's lots of different options, but I highly recommend you read that book. It's called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. The other big thing, you obviously have to make it a priority, and when you are sitting down to actually work or create, it's really important to eliminate distractions, but also embrace daydreaming. So turn off your TV, silence your phone, don't look at your email, just be where you are, right here at your creative area. Don't let anything else interrupt you. That space is, it's important and it's sacred. But while you're there, it's also okay to just sit and daydream and let your mind wander, to come up with new ideas and possibilities, to be curious. You don't have to constantly be working and productive that whole entire time. That's too much pressure and it's not realistic. The last little thought I have for you about that is, you can schedule things all you want and add them to your routine, your planner. But sometimes in life, first of all, things never go exactly according to plan. But second, sometimes you get surprised by a change of plans. You come up against unexpected moments and opportunities where, say, suddenly you had plans, but they get canceled. You can use that time for creative time as well if you don't have anything else scheduled or available for that day or week or whatever. If you suddenly come up with time, then take advantage of that. Use it with your creativity. And like I said before, even if you are not productive in output, it will be productive for you in here. That time is gonna fill you back up. You're gonna be happier, lighter, more joyful. You'll be more inspired, and then you'll be freer to be better at your other roles and responsibilities in your life. How can you refill that inspiration? What kinds of things can you do to take advantage of this quiet, creative time that you have discovered for yourself? You can make, you can watch, whether that's a TV documentary or, even just something, say, on television that has beautiful costumes or beautiful background or set design, anything that's going to be visually inspiring. You can listen to music, get outside and listen to the sound of the outdoors, the birds, the wind in the trees, anything around you, the rustling of grass. You can read. Inspiration comes in word form, and even though it's in words, that lends itself very well to creating imagery in your mind. So that has been a big source of inspiration for me. There have been several times where there's a scene described in a book I'm reading, and I'm just so inspired to sit down and sketch it out and bring it to life in my own way. You can also refill your inspiration by resting. Sometimes that just means vegging out. Sometimes it's taking a nap in the middle of the day if you need it. Sometimes it's just being quiet and still with a cup of coffee or tea in the afternoon. Sometimes it's getting outside and being active, moving your body, getting the endorphins flowing, breaking a sweat, and just flushing everything else out from your mind and letting your brain work through some of those things that you've been struggling with. That's all I've got for tonight. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear them. You can leave a comment and let me know what your favorite way to kind of refill and replenish your creative spirit are. I will be back with the next art chat in May. If you follow my newsletter, or you can sign up for that at emilyjalewski.com, and then scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a sign up form. So if you sign up for that, you'll get my monthly newsletter with the dates for each art chat. There's 2 every month, and I would love to have you there, because I also share other kind of inspiration, things I'm up to in the studio, and all kinds of other stuff, just kind of whatever is going on in my head. And, you know, a marketing person will probably tell you that's not very efficient, but sometimes that's just kind of what happens. So thank you so much for joining me, you guys. It means a lot to have you here, and I look forward to seeing you back next time. So have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.